This question goes to you, Mr. Peterson. Do people own their income?
No, I think it is. No, they own the property once it has become income. This is not, if you think about it, I've been trying to think of good analogies to this. We sometimes have people who come into the United States, right? But they're not considered to have been in the United States because of the legal mechanism by which they got here, right? So there's a question about whether you're lawfully present. It's just an immigration idea. Maybe makes sense only to lawyers, but income is sort of it's this line at which somebody else's property becomes your property, right? That's income.
Mr. Peterson, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
We really need to, as soon as we get the gavels back, we have to dismantle DHS and ICE and CBP. And we have to reconstruct them to what they really should be doing. Remember, don't let people tell you that these are agencies that have always existed and they need to exist. They didn't exist before 9/11.
This is not about voter ID. Oh, stop that. That's like a total bullshit description of the Save Act. Let me just focus on one part of the Save Act. In order to register to vote, you're going to have to show different pieces of documents. So if you're, let's say, a woman who got married, changed your last name, and if your last name doesn't match the name on your birth certificate, you're not going to be able to register to vote. That I call stealing our votes.
Good morning, America. How are you? I am Rabbi Dave, and I am here to announce that I don't know when, but I also am leaving Washington State.
Good morning, America. I am Friar Rod. It is the Ides of March, and I'm not in Washington State, so I can't leave there, but I do plan on leaving California at some point.
So, for those of you not keeping up, and I don't know who you would be, but if you don't live in Washington, I don't know why you would care, but this week in the state of Washington, we have passed, our legislature was winding down their session. And so they have passed, and the governor has said he will sign the income tax bill, which they have labeled the millionaire's tax, which is just a misnomer. I mean, it's an income tax. And as soon as it passed, literally the minute it passed, a dude by the name of Howard Schultz, who we've talked about before on this show, announced that he was leaving Washington State. Now, Howard Schultz, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know who you are, and it's not really my problem, but believe me, Howard Schultz has touched your life in some way, shape, or form. Howard Schultz is the former CEO, founder of Starbucks. Now, and even if you're one of those people that are going to send me an email, Dave, I hate Starbucks. I never go to Starbucks. Yeah, but you probably go to some other coffee shop that wouldn't exist if there wasn't a Starbucks. So you may not like Starbucks. And for the record, I'm personally ambivalent about Starbucks. However, I'm married to someone who loves Starbucks. So even if you don't like Starbucks, you're still going to Starbucks because coffee is
There are three, Dave, three in Oakdale. We have one McDonald's, but three Starbucks.
We also have one McDonald's and four Starbucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's one in Safeway. There are two self-standing and one in Target. So four. Yeah. Oh, five. There's one in Barnes & Noble. But the one in Barnes & Noble, have you ever noticed this? They don't take the Starbucks cards. So they have the Starbucks brand, but they're not really Starbucks. Does that make sense?
Oh.
Everything is Starbucks. It's same menu, same everything. But you can't use your app there because they don't.
So it's just licensed to Barnes & Noble probably to run it?
Yeah, whatever. So Howard Schultz announces that he is leaving. And by the way, he's not the only one. Jeff Bezos left some time ago over this same issue. And some guy I had never heard of, couldn't tell you who this guy is, Nick Hanauer, also announced that he is leaving. Now, Nick Hanauer, as it turns out, is the guy who founded the other Twitter, the liberal Twitter. What's that called? Blue Sky.
Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy that founded that. So he announced that he's leaving too. And all these people are leaving Washington State. Now, there was a good deal of crowing around conservative media about, see, these people are waking up. They're realizing how incredibly stupid this is, and they're leaving. And I keep saying to people, you act like this is a good thing. Schultz announced that he's moving to Miami, and my initial response to that is, so he's going to go fuck up Florida. Because Howard Schultz, who is something of a social pariah here anyway, I mean, let's face it, Washingtonians, especially Western Washingtonians, love our coffee. Which, by the way, I'm down to have a cup on because I forgot to make a cup before we started. But anyway, so
Drink wisely.
Yes, but then it gets cold. So we have this love-hate relationship with this. I mean, we love our, Starbucks is a Seattle, Washington area thing. But Schultz is also the guy that owned the Supersonics and then sold them to the corporation that moved them to Oklahoma City. So there's a lot of blame aimed at him over losing the Sonics, which for some reason Seattle really loved. So the thing about Schultz is he's not waking up. He didn't get up that morning when they passed the bill, the income tax, after 24 hours of debate and go, well, that's it, I'm a conservative.
No.
He got up and said, well, this hurts me personally, so I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Which is great for him because he can afford to just pick up and move. But 6.9 other million Washingtonians can't just do that. We can't just get up in the morning and go, you know what, this sucks, we're leaving. It takes time, it takes money, it takes effort, it takes all of these things that, most of us don't have. And just in case you think that I'm overplaying this, I went and looked up Howard Schultz's donations, his political viewpoints. This is a man who personally lobbied the state of Washington for gay marriage. He pushed that initiative. He has favored other things. Now, in fairness, he has been against some business taxes and stuff like that in Seattle, but not because they're bad ideas, but because they hurt him personally. He also makes donations to political candidates. Since the year 2000, he has made $1,000 worth of donations to Republican candidates for office. And 130 times that to Democrat politicians, who, by the way, are the people pushing the agenda that has led to this income tax now here in Washington. Don't send me an email going, it's just a millionaire tax. It's only on people who make $1 million. We'll get there. It's not. And now that it personally affects him, he's going to go somewhere else. And you people down in Florida, you think he's going to come down there and support Ron DeSantis? You think he's going to come down there and support Republicans running for office? The guy's got as much money as God.
He probably already has a house in Miami.
I'm sure
and that's why he said there. So he's just going to move there.
And I'm sure he does. And he's going to come down there, and he's going to do exactly down there what he's done here, which is he's going to support liberal leftist causes until they hurt him personally.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about you. He only cares about what makes him more money, what makes him more popular. And having spent the last, 15, 20 years being wildly unpopular, the dude wants to be loved. He's coming to Florida to fuck you up. He's coming to Miami to Washingtonia, how would we say that? Balkanize Florida. That's what he's coming to do. And if you think he's going to do anything different, you are deluding yourself. This man makes 130 times the donations to leftist politicians and leftist causes than he does to Republicans. Get ready, because he's coming. Now, let us turn to this income tax. Right?
Yep.
In Washington State, it is unconstitutional to tax income. Why, I hear you cry? Because
why, Dave?
When we wrote our Constitution more than 100 years ago, we said all property must be taxed uniformly. So in other words, you can't have a progressive income tax system because that wouldn't tax income uniformly, right? It's progressive. So if you don't make X amount of dollars, you pay this much. No, it must be taxed uniformly. So how do you get around that if you're a Washington State Democrat? And for 100 years, this has been in our Constitution. Since the 1930s, a Washington State Supreme Court case has upheld this. 11 times the idea has gone to the voters to get rid of this. And 11 times in liberal Washington State, we have said, no, what are you, insane? And now the Democrats have passed it, supposedly only on income above $1 million, which would seem to fly in the face of all property must be taxed uniformly.
Yeah.
Right? Now all these people with this money are leaving the state.
Mm-hmm.
We have at least 3 that I can name, 4 that I can name, that are leaving. Whatever their politics when they get there, they are taking their income, their property, with them, which isn't going to be here to be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, the Democrat legislature has already said, well, we're going to spend this on helping families, schools.
Because it's considered revenue.
Right.
It before they even get it, it's revenue.
Yeah. And, of course, this doesn't even go into effect until 2029. So that gives all these people time to get out.
Yeah.
And they're leaving. Saw a stat the other day. We had to go to Seattle yesterday. It was kind of a... Cammie has a training in downtown Seattle that she has to go to. Normally she would go to Tacoma, but the place in Tacoma was full, so she had to take the one in Seattle. So we got to go to Seattle on a Saturday. It's a 3-hour training. And I'm driving through downtown Seattle, and I'm realizing that as I'm looking at all these high rises, 32% of them are empty.
And it's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse. So where's this revenue going to come from?
Well, they're going to adjust it.
Yes. But the problem they have, Rod, is all property must be taxed uniformly. So how do you get around that?
So why didn't they just put in the flat tax?
Well, because Washington voters wouldn't go for that. So what do?
Well, but now they're just going to adjust it, right?
What they've done is they've spent 15 years packing the Washington State Supreme Court. Now, are you ready for this argument? You ready to hear how this argument's going to go?
Sure.
See this? What is that?
Yeah, it's $1.
Whose dollar is that? I mean, it just came out of my wallet.
It came out of your wallet, so you're in possession of it, yes.
So whose is it?
It's yours.
Whose property is it?
It's your property.
It is my property. And this has been the understanding of income for as long as anybody can imagine. Right? Income is property. And that is what the Supreme Court ruled back in the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
The argument that's being put forward, and I'm not making this up, folks. You heard it in the intro. The argument that's being put forward is income is not property.
Huh. That seems to fly into the face of even federal rules.
The argument is that income came from something else that was property. So in other words, if you have a rental, that's property. But people paying you rent, that's a benefit of your property. This is the argument that they're making. And all signals from the Supreme Court are, yeah, we agree with that. In fact, there was a case a couple of years ago where they basically told the Democrats, this is the argument you should make. It's the argument they're going to make. And the presumption now is that the Washington State Supreme Court is going to say, yeah, that's right. Income is not property. Therefore, it does not have to be taxed uniformly, and we can tax it however we want.
Wow.
The mental gymnastics that you have to go through to make this work, this idea that your income is no longer your property. It belongs
Well, but that would also mean that it's any money that you currently have is not considered your property.
But it is. Now, this is, I'm telling you that the mental gymnastics you have to go through. There's this ethereal point, okay? So let's say I own a rental. I have a renter. He or she, or even it, because it's the 21st century, hands me a rent check. There's a point at which both of our hands are physically on that check, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somehow at that point, magically, neither of us owns that. And that's the point at which they tax it. I'm not making this up.
That's ridiculous.
I am not making this up.
So that could go for anything. I'm going to buy a car.
Bingo. It absolutely could go for anything. If you own a car and you're doing Uber driving, right?
I think that flies in the face of contract law.
Look, dude, I think it flies in the face of common sense. But I'm telling you, here in Washington State, not only did this pass the legislature this past week, the governor has said he's going to sign it. There are other machinations in this whole thing. They passed a law 2 years ago so that if the law ends up on an initiative on our ballot, to the people to vote for it, yes or no?
Yeah.
If it ends up on our ballot, they passed a law saying they have to put a quote unquote financial impact statement, which will now read, if this if this millionaire's tax is repealed, schools are going to lose money.
Of course they're going to say that because it's propaganda. It's propaganda. Right. Yeah.
This whole thing is just insane. So these millionaires, such as they are leaving the state. Bezos left, although Bezos is making noise now about buying the Seahawks. Apparently there's going to be a bidding war between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos to buy the Seahawks, which are for sale. I'm not sure where I come down on that because Bezos probably going to move the team because Musk owning the Seattle Seahawks appeals to me.
He'd move the team too, though.
I don't know if he would. I don't know that he would. He may be tempted to become something of a political force in Washington and in Seattle. Although there is some serious talk about the Seahawks leaving because of these taxes, because they're not. They have already lost their Super Bowl MVP, who went to Missouri because taxes.
Yeah.
Who, they're going to have a hard time doing this. The Mariners are already panicking. I'm already panicking about the Mariners season because I bought MLB TV's Mariners package. You can do that now. I used to black out Mariners games up here or wherever you are, but now you can buy a special package that will let you watch them locally. So I bought it. $20 a month. But now the team's going to suck because all these free agents are going to be like, no, I don't want to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. It's pretty sad when the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to become and the Florida Marlins are going to become forces because that's where the players want to go because they're not going to have to pay those taxes. It's scary. So anyway, Elon Musk buying the Seahawks, I think that would be interesting. I think it'd be worth it just to watch the leftists melt down.
Well,
because Elon ruined Twitter yet.
Oh yeah.
Imagine what he would do to the Seahawks.
Well, it would be the Doge, right? They'd be
Seattle Doges. I don't know.
With the image of the dog on the helmet.
Here's my warning, folks, and this is what I keep saying to people. Stop with this is a good thing. These millionaires are leaving. It's not. It's not a good thing. Certainly not a good thing for us, because that's going to let the Democrats do what they want to do, which is a progressive income tax on the rest of us anyway. But
yeah,
if you think that Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Howard Schultz coming to your red state is a good thing, you are absolutely batshit crazy. They are not going to come there and support the thing. They did not have an epiphany. They did not have oh my God, this is a bad thing. I should go someplace and work to overcome all this stuff. No. The only reason they're moving is because it hurt them personally, and they're going someplace else with the same beliefs, the same ideas, the same ideologies that they've always had, but a place that isn't yet ready to hurt them personally. And Howard Schultz is going to move to Miami. He's going to... Can you imagine if Howard Schultz gave $100,000 to, what was that name, Andrew Gillum, the guy that lost to DeSantis in the first race by 0.01%? If he'd have had another $100,000, how does that race go?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to you. And I don't care if you're talking about Florida, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Of course, none of these people are moving to Oklahoma, but you get the idea. Yeah. Look at what happened to Colorado from the 70s on. Look at what's happening to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Montana. They're coming there to liberalize your state. They're coming there to, as they say, turn Texas blue, and they intend to do it. And they're going to do it, and then they will stay there until it hurts them personally. And then after they've screwed you over, they will pull up stakes and move somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Or they will build into whatever they're doing, safeguards so that it doesn't hurt them personally, which they weren't able to do up here. But once they do, and, it's the whole eat the rich thing. So once they do, your state's going to go blue. And it's going to be, I guess you can blame us for chasing them out. But stop with the whole, they've changed thing, because they haven't. They're not going to. And at the end of the day, well, you get what you voted for. That was a short break, wasn't it?
It was a short break.
Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So I asked the question this week on Twitter, and I think I put it on Facebook too.
Yeah.
Are people getting dumber?
I think so.
Okay. Why do you think they're getting dumber? What's the reasoning for thinking that?
Well, based off of some of the posts that we've seen online, it's just like they're not thinking. They don't critically think. Or they're doing what I hate, is that they're just forwarding other people's statements as fact and not checking and then reacting.
Right. But people on the right do that too.
They do.
It still frosts my shorts, the whole Hillary Clinton meme about, the things she said about Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I don't like Hillary Clinton either. But if you're stupid enough to believe that Hillary Clinton, who is a master politician, would be caught saying those things without the person who leaked them being suicided,
unalived.
You're insane. Okay, you're not thinking, and that's part of the problem with this whole thing. So there is that. But does that mean we're dumber because we don't do those things?
I think over time, yeah. I think it's trending. It's trending that way.
The idiocracy way?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So we have U.S. senators. Mazie Hirono, is that her name? From Hawaii. Who has been tweeting, Xing. What do we call that now? Posting?
It's posting.
Yeah. On Twitter incessantly this week about the SAVE Act and about how the SAVE Act is, what did she say this morning? She said something this morning about
I haven't looked this morning.
Donald Trump. God, I had it. Now I've lost it. And normally I bookmark this stuff, and I just didn't. I don't know what it was. Oh yeah. The Democrat Socialists of America are going to Cuba. They're putting together a thing to go to Cuba to encourage Cubans not to overthrow their communist government, which announced this week that they weren't, they were ready to give up. Our Congresswoman up here, Jayapal, announced that, quote, this country was built by Somalis, Indians, Latinos, and Africans. Meanwhile, Hazy Morano informs us that the SAVE Act is going to steal elections. That Donald Trump is trying to steal elections, and therefore the SAVE Act, which will make it harder for married women to vote, and we've already been through all this, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but why is she actually posting this stuff? She, in my view, Rod, and this is what led to the question about being dumber. The woman is a senator in the United States Senate. And I realize that here on the Ides of March, maybe I'm giving too much credit. But I make an assumption that in order to become a U.S. Senator, she had to, here in Washington, I know it's a fact in California, she had to register to vote. Because you can't run for office unless you're registered to vote. Which means that in order to register to vote, she had to show some form of identification to run for that office, to register to vote so that she could run for office, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Meaning that she knows that everything that's coming out of her mouth, because of her own experience, is not true. So why then does she continue to say it? Is it because she's getting dumber? Or is there something else at play here?
Well, she's repeating a mantra that's been on the left about the whole women are going to lose rights and all this other stuff. It's going to be so much harder.
Which nobody is buying, at least as far as I can tell. I haven't even heard of The View repeating that. Because I think everybody in the world recognizes how just absolutely ridiculous that statement is.
Yeah.
My mother, who, of blessed memory, who was not particularly political as I recall, got married in 1961. Guess what? She managed to vote. I know because I went with her a couple of times. How could she do that? It's almost like they want this. What do they call that show with the handmaidens? It's almost like they want that to happen so that they have, I don't know, something to complain about.
Yeah.
But it raises that question. When you have Hazy Morano saying this over and over again, when you have Jayapal saying this country, the United States, was built by Somalis, Rod, Somalis. What else did she say? Somalis, something else. I don't even remember now, and I've closed the window. Sorry. When you have people saying this with some kind of serious mindset, and nobody in the media, at least, is pushing back. Nobody in the media is going, wait, are you serious? If I said something that batshit crazy on the air, somebody would call and go, wait. That's, but it's almost like a sermon in a church, right?
Yeah.
If you say something crazy from the pulpit, how many people actually stand up and go, well, that's not right, versus how many people go, well, I wonder if that matters. I mean, he's been to seminary. He probably knows more about it than I do, which is what tends to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is what they're playing on. They're playing on this idea that, well, I'm smarter than you, so I know better, and you should listen to me, even though every sense in your body says, that's my dollar. They look at you with a straight face and say, no, that's not your property.
These are the same people that are pushing, wearing masks still. And they're the same people that want you to socially distance. Oh, COVID's coming back.
Yes. And I ran into several of those in Seattle yesterday. This baffles me. I had 3 hours that I had to wait for Cammie to go to her training. So I was trying to find a bookstore that was open because it was, early in the morning. The only one that's open is Barnes & Noble, which you have to pay to park at. That's what I hate about Seattle. There is no parking in Seattle. You have to pay to park everywhere. So anyway, half the staff inside the Barnes & Noble is wearing masks.
Too funny.
It's snowing outside. I mean, heavily snowing, almost blizzard-like conditions. They're all wearing masks. None of it's sticking to the ground, but so the more I scroll Twitter, Rod, which may be my mistake, maybe I just need to stop doing that. Maybe I just need to say, you know what, I'm done with Twitter.
X.
Or watch the stuff like somehow or another start changing my algorithm so that instead of getting Mazie Hirano, I'm getting the 7-Eleven Taiwan mascot being blown away by the windstorm. Or, I don't know, clips of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I don't know. I got to change this up somehow or another because the stuff I'm getting is so freaking ridiculous.
So you're going to ostrich, Dave. You're going to stick your head in the sand.
I don't want to do that though. But I've got to do something because I can't keep watching this. I can't keep watching the superintendents of Washington State schools going in front of a committee hearing and saying that as long as a girl can get pregnant as young as age 9, the parents have no right to interfere. And there's no such thing as boys or girls. It's, again, Jana Paul saying this country was built by Somalians, Indians, Latinos, and Africans. It's...
she hates the Chinese.
Apparently.
Because they weren't included.
It's that dude that thinks he's a chick that keeps posting. There's several of them now. It's like... Yeah. And unless you say, well, Dave, just don't follow them. I don't. But I do follow people who feel it important to tell me about it, And it's like, fuck. I don't want to hear this. Gavin Newsom explaining that the country is afraid and that several people have told him that he's the only one that can save us. Dylan Mulvaney starring in a show again. And it made me wonder, are we getting dumber? Are people getting dumber every day? And I came to a conclusion, Rod. Do you know what that conclusion is?
What is the conclusion, Dave?
People, in fact, are not getting dumber.
Okay.
Now I had to go back a long way because there was. Look, I've been. You'll have to pardon me. I'm from the 1900s. There were a lot of dumb people in the 1900s.
Okay.
Dumb people who did incredibly dumb things. In fact, I may have been one of them. We played with fireworks. We shot guns, We used to have pop bottle rocket fights and dirt clod fights. You could argue that we were dumb. Am I getting dumber than that? No, of course not. I don't do that stupid crap anymore. I don't drink till 4 a.m. anymore because that was dumb.
Yeah.
So I must be getting smarter.
Wiser.
Same thing. What I have realized, Bill, Ben, Rod, whoever you are.
You see, you're getting dumber.
Apparently. What I have realized is that people are not getting dumber. The problem we have is that dumb people are getting louder.
Well, and they're getting power.
Well, how do you get powder? Power. How do you get power? Good God. How do you get power?
Well,
you get attention.
You get attention.
And you get attention by being louder. You get attention by standing up and going, well, this tax hurts me, so I'm going to move to Miami. Or if you're an actress, you stand up and go, I hate Trump so much he scares me that I'm leaving. I'm going to Ireland. This isn't an airport. You don't need to announce she was fleeing America. That's what she said. She's fleeing America.
Funny. A lot of them are coming back again.
Quietly, though.
Yeah.
It's a great article in the Seattle Times yesterday about all these people that wanted to move to Canada because of Trump. They're frightened. They're scared. They have to move to and Canada's like, no, you're not coming here. And they're shocked by this.
They protect their borders.
What do you mean? What do you mean we can't just come in? What do you think this is, the United States? No, I think the dumb people are getting louder. And I think that may actually be the problem. Welcome back. I'm Dave.
I'm Rod.
So I want to take you back in time.
Okay.
It was October 15th, somewhere in there, 1981. I know it wasn't the 13th because that was the day I got there that evening.
Mm-hmm.
I know it wasn't. It had to be a little bit beyond that because by the time this happened, I actually had my uniform on.
Okay.
And you don't get that first day is, when they kind of takes a couple of days to do that. So it was after the 13th of October, but before the 20th of October. How's that?
Okay.
I learned when I went to basic training in San Diego in 1981, starting October 13th, that the Dr. Seuss book, Green Eggs and Ham, is real.
You mean the meal is real?
I mean, green eggs are a thing.
Okay.
I'd never heard of that before. I'd never imagined that before. I still can't imagine that that's a good thing, but you go to the chow hall for breakfast and the eggs were definitively green. Now, they assured me that this was fine. This was normal. It had to do with oxidation or something, and it's no big deal. Just eat them. And so being 18 years old, relatively dumb, inexperienced in the world, I ate the green eggs. Not going to sit here and tell you they were great. Not going to tell you, Sam, I am, that I love them and I would eat them in a box. I would eat them in a fox. I'm not going to tell you that, but I wouldn't eat them today. But then I ate them. Lunches consisted of what we called grinder bird, which was the Navy's version of chicken. Chicken is something that the Navy loved in those days. In fact, we had a patrol. We went on a patrol, and my Master Chief figured out that we had taken 17.5 pounds of chicken per man on the patrol. We eat a lot of chicken. At one point, the menu said Monday, fried chicken, Tuesday, Maryland fried chicken, Wednesday, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Thursday, Southern Fried Chicken. Friday, chicken a la king. It was quite the thing.
Well, it's cheap too. That's why.
It was very cheap, and was one of the concerns. Now, after I'd been in basic training for about a week, you're starting to get used to this. You're starting to get, okay, it's not the greatest food in the world, but at least there's plenty of it. We walked into the chow hall at lunch, marched in, and we were sat down at the table. We didn't go through the line. They sat us down at the tables. And all of a sudden, people who were much higher ranked than we were bringing trays to us and setting them in front of us, serving us, as it were.
Okay.
And on these trays were the most incredibly beautiful steaks I have ever seen in my life. I have had lots of steak. This steak was one of the most incredibly beautiful steaks I've ever seen, and it tasted amazing. There was a baked potato with it that was just delicious, overflowing with butter and chives and corn. It was an incredible meal, and as I'm eating this meal, I'm starting to think to myself, wait, this is not what we normally have.
No. They
sure
want
enough,
something. They're going to say something.
Sure enough, there was an announcement, attention on deck, so we all popped tall. And in walks some admiral, I still don't know who it was, who proceeds to explain to us that today's meal is in celebration of the Navy's birthday, and I'm here to talk to you, you new sailors. For the next 20 minutes, you'll stand at attention while your steak gets cold.
Oh, jeez.
Which began this theory in my mind that anytime there's an admiral at the meal, something's up. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I had a lot of steak and lobster while I was in the Navy. In fact, as I recall, there were twice. And both times that I had steak and lobster, it was immediately followed by, here's some news you're not going to like.
Yeah.
Once was on shore duty right here at Bangor, and it was actually the first time I'd ever had lobster. I'd never had it before. We were in school here and went over to the chow hall and, wow, steak and lobster. What's this about? Only to be followed by the explanation that something bad was happening. I don't remember what it was, but the second time I had it was the only time we actually sailed. Normally we would sail from here on the morning tide. We'd get out because of the way the tides flow. You want to get through the bridge. For some reason, we were leaving on the evening tide. And I don't remember what the reasoning was. Wasn't privy to those discussions, but that allowed the ship's cook to grab the ship's truck, go over to Seattle that morning to Pike's Place Market and buy 100 lobsters, live lobsters, which he then brought to the ship for a going away meal, right? And for a few hours, we actually had one of these live lobsters in the Missile Control Center. We named it Ted, as I recall, but it was, this was exciting, Rod. We're going to have lobster. This is going to be a great patrol. We're going to start with this lobster and steak surf and turf dinner. And then we're going to pull out and we're going to go to Hawaii. And then we're going to go to San Francisco. And then we'll finish the patrol and come home, right?
Wrong.
So I go down to the chow hall or the mess decks that night for my lobster dinner. And what I discovered was, while lobster tail in and of itself is edible and okay if you dunk it in enough butter, I want nothing to do with a whole lobster.
No.
That was the most, that was horrifying. And I can't imagine who would eat things this way. But I guess people do. But it was enough that I got up and left because I was just, I can't deal. Like, the idea of breaking this thing open and the green stuff pouring all out over the place, just, still makes me gag a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after that meal that it was announced that, oh, by the way, thanks to operational changes, we are not going to Hawaii. We are not going to San Francisco. You're stuck for the next 90 days. Which, of course, is how the Navy and the military in general does things. If we're going to give you bad news, we're going to soften that bad news with a good meal. Now, that said, I will acknowledge the fact that submarines in general have very good food. Okay. Until I got married, if you had given me a choice of where I wanted to eat Thanksgiving dinner, at home or some friend's home or on the boat, hands down, I would take the boat. The cooks were amazing. They were fantastic. They did just incredible work, and the food was fantastic. But when you would get the steak and lobster, you knew crap was up. And so it is with some bemusement this week that people in Congress, Adam Schiff, speaking of dumb people getting loud, is throwing an absolute hissy fit because we bought lobster and steak for the troops getting ready to go to war. Now, I want you to think about the optics of this.
Mm-hmm.
This man who makes $175,000 a year and is worth millions and doesn't
probably
eat bologna
has
sandwiches.
steak and lobster all the time.
That's my point. He's not eating bologna sandwiches. He's certainly not eating MREs.
Mm-mm.
He's not even eating on a submarine. Is bitching because the military had a meal of lobster and steak prior to going into combat. And I'm like, you know what? You'll notice that the members of Congress who are bitching about this are not the ones who served in the military. The ones who served in the military are oddly quiet about this because they know what the fuck it means. The ones who didn't serve, the Adam Schiffs of the world, the Bernie Sanderses of the world, they are the ones throwing this ridiculous hissy fit about this, which would be funny if these weren't the same people that had just spent, how many billions on Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever else you want to look at that are how much were they sending to Nicaragua for transgender studies?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I do know that when you get lobster and steak, stand by, or as we used to say, bohica. Bend over. Here it comes again. Welcome back. I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod.
So we call this last segment the wrap.
Yeah.
And it's where we just kind of throw some things in that, and so I've got some wrap stuff for you.
But before we get to that, Dave, how's your coffee holding up? I mean, you only had half a cup.
It's cold and it's empty.
Oh.
So didn't make it through.
I'm sorry.
We tried to live stream today.
We did.
And I don't know what's going on. It kept telling us timed out. Sorry, we tried. I don't know why it didn't work. I'm wondering if maybe if I'd put it on my personal page it would work, but it said it was supposed to work. We'll try again in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. So I got a response on my ER bill.
Oh yeah.
Which was basically we have initiated an audit kind of thing, which I'm told is what I want.
Yeah.
So they're looking at it. In the meantime, I also got a separate bill for that ER visit from the doctor.
Of course.
Who charged me $700 more
for the hallway conversation. Which the insurance company said, "Oh, wait, no, we'll pay $600 of that." So I owe him $124.
So I started the whole thing about, well, should I do this with him too? Come to find out that, sure, you should, but even if they lower it to a level 2, you're only going to save like $20.
Yeah.
Is it worth the effort? I don't know if it is or not.
Other than you're making them spend money that they can't bill you for.
Hadn't considered that, but yeah.
It's a very troll move because it's like, yeah, I might save $20, but you're going to spend well more than $20 just doing the research about my
And
client.
I might not save anything anyway. I mean, even if I don't, I mean,
yeah.
How much is my time worth, I guess that's the argument, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's in progress. They say it'll take 30 to 45 days, which is pretty much normal, I guess. And then we'll see where it goes.
All right, well.
But progress has been made. So there you go. In the meantime, if you know anything about how the show works, you know that I actually do plan the shows in advance.
Yeah, he does.
Even though sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way. Last week, the title of the show was Cheyenne Strippers, or Cowboy Strippers, which you'll notice we did not talk about.
Nope.
We did not discuss the Cowboy Strippers at all. And I don't know why. We got somewhere else real quick, and that was the end of that. So I wanted to bring to you today the story that I intended to our last week. Because this is the kind of story that just, I don't know, it just appeals to me. Cheyenne, Wyoming. A 28-year-old Cheyenne exotic dancer is being sought on a warrant after sheriff's deputies say she assaulted another dancer at gunpoint over a dispute about a quote-unquote regular. By the way, she's also charged with stealing the pistol and assaulting her boyfriend with her vehicle.
Okay. She's a peach.
I don't know if you've ever been to a strip club.
No.
Don't know if you've ever been to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
No.
But believe me when I tell you this, none of this surprises me. The sheriff's office alleges that the suspect, one Brianna Elzy, 28, assaulted her boyfriend with her vehicle when he tried to stop her from leaving their home after he told her that police were looking for her. A warrant's been issued. Charges of aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon, assault and battery, threatening with a weapon, theft of more than $1,000, and, just for good measure, domestic battery, first offense. Court records show that a deputy was called to a mobile home park, of course, in the, just in case you were wondering, 200 block of South Greeley Highway. I've been there. Early Wednesday when he was met by a man and two women. The women informed the deputy that they were exotic dancers at the Den, which is a gentleman's club, and that the man was dating one of these two women. The trio then told the deputy that Elzy, the suspect, showed up at their home wanting to fight one of the dancers, and pulled a, quote, small black semi-automatic handgun on the man who was in the relationship with the dancer. It's getting confusing, I know.
Okay.
The man advised...
You sure this isn't Florida?
Yeah.
Because it would make total sense there.
The man advised that Elzy pushed him up against the car and pantomimed his pockets being frisked. Then the man stated that Elzy removed his Smith & Wesson M&P 15 9mm pistol from his jacket pocket and took possession of it.
Okay.
The man then told the deputy that he allowed her to leave and to take the gun because, quote, he didn't want shots flying.
Oh,
all right, just go ahead and take the gun. His girlfriend, the other exotic dancer, then told the deputy that Elsie accosted her while holding the weapon before leaving with the boyfriend's weapon. And we have no idea what that accosting means. She accosted me.
Cat fight.
Yeah. The deputy then went to Elsie's residence in Cheyenne and spoke with her, and I love this because the story says, air quote, partner, air quote, who told the deputy that he'd been in a dating relationship with her for the past 2 years. At some point, don't you just realize...
So, wait. Does this all take place at a mobile home park? Is she like traveling from like one unit to the next unit?
Well, it's not clear to me that it's all a mobile home traffic park.
Okay.
Mobile home. But he went to to the suspect's residence, which is in Cheyenne.
Okay.
But was told that she is not there. He believes, her boyfriend, believes that she was in Denver, which is about an hour away. And for the deputy's sake, he tried to call her. It's not clear whether she answered or not. But the deputy told him to get a hold of her and contact law enforcement because she was wanted for questioning.
Okay.
Search of the area did not turn up Elsie. Whatever. At 4:30 a.m., Cheyenne police responded to a call from Elsie's boyfriend that she had returned home. Oh,
okay.
And then left. She just took off again. When interviewed by the deputy, the boyfriend told him, the deputy, that she initially was unbothered by his questions to her, but when he told her he was going to call the police because they had questions for her, she allegedly stated, quote, "Then I've got to get out of here," unquote. Boyfriend said that she had a, quote, "heavy object in her purse," unquote. When she tried to leave, he stood in front of the vehicle. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
To try and prevent her from taking off. Okay. What's the paradigm that says this will work? I'm dating a woman who is literally batshit crazy.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to stand in front of the car. Oh, and by the way, she has a gun.
Yeah.
She bumped him with the vehicle several times before pushing him out of the way with it and speeding off. The boyfriend said prior to leaving the residence the previous afternoon, she had made remarks about fighting with another dancer over a dispute with a regular who was paying less attention to her than she was the other dancer. The boyfriend told the deputy that she regularly carries a semi-automatic handgun, so I don't know why she would need to steal one, but there you go. Affidavit states that attempts by the deputy to call and text Elsie's phones were unsuccessful and that she appeared to have blocked the sheriff's department number.
Couldn't they just track her phone?
Well, it is Wyoming. The aggravated robbery with a deadly weapons charge carries a maximum penalty of 5 years to 25, 5 to 25, and a $10,000 fine. Both the aggravated assault and battery and theft charge carry potential penalties of up to an additional 10 years in prison. Right?
Well, I hope she, has some kind of backup plan for what she's going to do when she gets out, because dancing isn't going to be one of them.
The domestic battery charge. This is what kills me. The domestic battery charge, where she tried to actually kill someone, carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in jail and a $750 fine.
6 months.
So, hitting someone, accosting someone, that's serious. Actually trying to kill someone in Wyoming over a stripper dance, 6 months and $750, which she could probably make in an evening, especially if her regular was allowed to tip, right? There's your happenings in Wyoming. Well, on that note, I am Rabbi Dave, and this has been a cough-filled but angry version of...
What the Frock?
Oh, you didn't say who you were.
No,
I'm Rabbi Dave.
I'm Friar.
See what happens when I get...
when you get coffee depleted?
This day has just been... I don't know. Do we feel off today? Does this show feel like
it does
it's
feel a
kind
little
of
off. Yeah, it does.
Should we just start over? Should we just do this whole thing again, or should we just say, oh, look, sometimes you know what it is?
What?
Did you watch the World Baseball Classic?
I did. Some of it.
So Italy, of course, has made the final, or some of it. And you know why? Because they've got a freaking espresso machine in the dugout.
Yeah, that's when every home run that person puts their
they get an
number up
espresso.
there. Yeah.
So we have hit no home runs today, which is why my coffee cup is empty, which is why today's show has just sucked. Sorry. But you know what? They still won yesterday, even without hitting a home run.
Okay. Yeah.
We're still here. We still won. Even though I ain't got no coffee, and it has caused this day's show to just really suck. I'm disappointed in myself because you have no idea how passionate I am about this income tax bullshit.
Yeah.
And the fact that Howard Schultz is moving to Florida. And all you idiots that think this is a good thing. He's coming to Florida to screw up your state, folks.
Idiots. You're all idiots.
If you think he's coming down there to do anything other than screw up your state, you're delusional. And it's our fault because our income is no longer property. And nobody up here seems to think like...
At the moment it changes hands, it's nobody's property.
Except that it doesn't. I mean... You should listen to these people argue about this stuff, and you sit there and you just. There's no way that they're this freaking stupid. That's what I was saying about Hazy Morano. She's not possibly this stupid. She's pretending. This is a troll. It has to be, because no one could possibly be that stupid. Which goes back to my theory, which is that dumb people are getting louder, not dumber. And because they're getting louder, people are listening to them. They're
grouping up, too.
They're clumping together. And next thing you know, there'll be videos out there of Greta Thunberg telling Donald Trump to leave Cuba alone. Oh, wait, there it is.
The Farquad one was funny.
Yes.
I love the internet.
God damn. So I'm sorry, folks. I just didn't have it today.
Okay.
I didn't need any home runs.
All right. Let's take it again.
On that note... I'm Rabbi Dave.
I am Friar Rod.
And this has been kind of a screwed up version, but we got through it episode of...
What the Frock?
$750. 6 months. Domestic violence. She tried to kill the dude. She gets 6 months if they find her.
So grab your frog and come aboard. This nonsense can't be ignored. We joke, we gripe, we spin, we sing. While Rome burns on, we'll do our thing. What the frock is going on here? We may not know, but still we cheer. Raise your voice, your glass, your brow, because the frock is happening now.